Yo, LA Natives
That's
podcast.
nothing.
Non-natives podcast.
Now
Yeah.
back at it.
Yo,
Back at it.
a couple
Exactly.
hours ago, I was in the car. I was like, Yankees 5, Dodgers 0. They're
Oh my
fucking
God, I
losing
thought
their
so
ass.
too. I
And
thought
then I
I'll
just turned it
go
off. I
back
was
to
like, man,
LA.
there's no point even listening to this shit because it's like, fuck.
Dude, they won.
They came back, bro.
They won.
You can't count them out in the postseason.
Yeah.
That's
I
what's
knew
good.
I knew the blue was gonna win. I
Well-
knew the blue team was gonna win.
How did you know?
Because it's just I knew it, man. Somehow I thought to myself, the team with the blue uniform, they're
You know
gonna
what's,
win.
you know what's fun about that? You know, I'm not into sports. I'm not like a big fan, but
That's why I was surprised when you were into it.
this is the first time I
Do you
watched.
do you respect athletic ability?
I just respect that.
Right? Good
I
point.
You gotta respect the game.
I
mean,
respect
those guys go out
athletes. I
there
respect
and
all
they
that.
put-
It's just not my thing anymore. I don't, but I do enjoy.
Well, since you don't play anymore, I understand.
Yeah, I don't play it. I never really played it, even when I was a kid. But what I didn't know was seeing the little kids get happy when the win. Like I remember those feelings growing up. Because I grew up in the era of Fernando Valenzuela. So, I mean, before my consciousness, before my evolution of thought and everything, I remember those feelings, and I got nostalgic with my son over this whole thing, and
Right.
it was cool. It was a cool thing because I remember my other boys when I was into sports and did a lot of that kind of activity, and my older son is into sports because of it.
And yo, it's a fucked up story though. Like rest in Fernando Venezuela, bro.
Right.
He died a couple days before he even knew they were gonna win, and he was part of the organization. He was a commentator. He just recently passed away, like last week.
Yeah, but and then again, you now that you are conscious and you know the story, you got to remember Chavez Ravine. We got to remember the situation, about Bishop and the other communities that were displaced because of corporate sports. So by no means this is not like I want to make sure that everybody's clear on stance in terms.
Rest in peace, La Loma,
La
Palo
Loma.
Verde, and Bishop.
There you go. La Loma.
Well said.
Verde,
Well
and
said.
we gotta say that. If you're gonna say the Dodgers name, you gotta say their name.
That's
because they sacrificed a lot for that team to be there and to have the success that it had. So La Paloma, Bishop, what was the last one? The Verde.
Let me just confirm this shit.
Yeah, but while we're pausing, I think a lot of communities of color have been displaced as a matter of entertainment and a larger sports industry have removed. A lot of displacement's gone on. So it's good to acknowledge these
Yep.
things. Again, too.
Rest in peace, La Loma, Palo Verde, and Bishop.
There you go, Palo Verde. That's the one I missed out. But we gotta mention them.
Hey, but that's okay. We don't have to even know the cities' names, but just have to recognize that there were cities there of raza.
There were
Good point. Good
There
point, man.
There was a lot of raza that used to live in Chavez Ravine. The indigenous individual that I go sweat with, Uncle Al, his mom is one of the last surviving members of that thing, and she remembers. I mean, it's weird because he was telling me like, oh yeah, she remembers, on first base that used to be somebody's house, and on
Wow.
the outfield that used to be
crazy.
somebody's house.
Yeah,
That is crazy.
From what the story is, it was an artificial rug pull. They promised them affordable housing. That's why they needed the land. And then out of nowhere, there was going to be a stadium built there. And obviously, that was the plan all along, right?
Well, of course, they wanted that particular piece of property in Los Angeles overlooks all of Los Angeles. It's almost like the property alone has a mystique, right? When you go up to Dodger Stadium and watch a game, you see like, whoa, where am I? Like,
And if you notice, driving up to Dodger Stadium, there's a couple of them left, those old-ass houses,
Right.
where these people just refuse to move out
Right.
because they own the property. It's probably worth fucking millions, right?
right.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit of, so as you digest your win and celebrate, your Dodgers, just know that there's a lot of people that paid a price for that. And again, Bishop, Palo Verde,
La Loma.
and La Loma. Yes. So we got to shout them out and always remember their struggle and suffering because, I like what the game did for me and my son. It was cool. It was a cool moment because he's looking at me. He's all, Dad, and he's all happy. He's a little kid,
Right.
and that moment right there, I won't trade for anything, because it's a moment that in sports we have learned in a colonial way, completely colonial, to bond with each other, right? We bond that way. I noticed that, inadvertently by, experiencing the game with my son. A certain bond happened, not because of the game, but because of his emotion.
Every time I've been to Dodger Stadium, I've been blessed to sit VIP or like front row or good seats only once in a blue moon. Obviously, the majority of the times are the nosebleeds.
Right.
Bro, it's chaos up there. People get drunk. There's fucking fights. Bro, it's right. It's dangerous going to a goddamn Dodger
Part
game,
of
bro.
the
That's LA, brother. That's an LA.
It's a LA
thing.
experience.
The
right there.
but no, you know what it is? It's the Holy Roman Circus, bro. That's it.
It is,
It's
yeah.
the Roman Circus right there, bro. Like
That's
that's what it is. Get drunk, voice your opinion. Oh, this other person doesn't like your
Have
opinion.
pride over this team and the city, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like it's
a
your
false
team.
pride. It's a false pride because really,
And then you see the other guy with the other jersey, the Yankees. They're fucking. They'll be murdered right there, dude.
no, or beat up,
Don't
or,
walk in with the Yankee jersey.
Oh my God.
You better
yeah.
come deep.
or harassed.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
you're gonna get harassed the whole game.
it's
No,
like that
but
with
look.
San Francisco, bro. Like
Yeah, same shit.
But
Any
out of
stadium.
all the teams,
Any
I
stadium.
believe out of all professional sports like basketball, football, and baseball, I think baseball and the jerseys and the merchandise has more influence. Has it's probably on the top of the influence. Has more influence than football. Has more influence than basketball, I believe. Like the Dodger jerseys, bro.
Older,
Like
is it older than football? and
I think
basketball?
so.
Hey, but Mondo, why do you think that? I'm just curious because I kind of
I've just
agree
seen,
with you.
dude. I grew up in LA, bro, and just
Uh-huh.
like you can't avoid Dodger jerseys, right? Like zero, like
Right.
I think it's more iconic for sure.
But I would say my personal opinion, what I think it is that
like
the
like
football.
you're from the Bay. Are you supposed to buy fucking Giants jerseys and shit?
Well, I mean, you're either that or Oakland, but now no longer Oakland. You know what I mean? But yeah, you were either rocking the green or rocking the. I mean, it's just very regional. But I was gonna say, Mondo, baseball plays a long season, so you know what I mean. It has a longer time, and that they have the spring break. Whereas football is a short season. Basketball goes long, but a lot of people don't get it. But baseball is like America's sport.
Yeah, you know what? I have to give it up to professional baseball players. 'Cause,
Yeah, it's a
one
long
season,
season.
bro. They're flying every day. They're in the fucking plane, and if you really think about it, they're in the dugout the majority of the times.
Right.
You're right. Hey, but bro, think about this. The minor leagues before you get there, dude, what do they make a day? Like 50 cents an hour? Like you know what I'm saying? When you're in the minors, you're broke ass. And then but it's interesting. It's an interesting, like it's chasing your dream, I mean it's
And honestly, it's the only sport where I just see teams always recruiting Latin American players, dude. I mean Latin
it's
players.
a game of endurance, brother. Who do you think's gonna be in there?
Right,
Come on,
they-
a game of endurance.
Dominican.
The Dominican Republic, Cuba.
Right.
They bring people that are
Yeah.
not from obviously this country. They speak no English and they're
Yeah.
killing it.
The people that aren't there voicing their idiot opinions, but they could defend themselves pretty good, I bet. Like,
But I have to admit, Zero, once I heard about the displacement movement and the story behind it, bro, I just had a whole different perspective on the whole Dodgers organization, bro. It's fucking disgusting.
But it's just knowledge, brother. It's just having the information. But you're right. It's like someone pissing in your Kool-Aid.
I just get to a point where, we all want to be, in a better place. You know what I mean? But we give our money to things that don't give anything back to us, right? Like if you
Some of us do.
Like-
Some of us do it more than others.
So what do you think the Dodgers give back to the community?
Oh my God!
what is it? Do they give?
Yeah,
they give them a cool marketing. They give them a cool brand. That's what it is. It's a brand. It's like Levi's. It's like Nike. It's like
Hey, but they
make
went through some turmoil
They
too,
make their
though.
uniforms. They make their uniforms, and then they go, "Oh, wow, I want to wear that uniform." So now it becomes like a fashion brand, right? And that fashion brand isn't cheap.
But Ruben, there was some backlash because they had supported some like transgender stuff one night, and like it's just interesting, man. It's like I guess you can't do that in baseball, you know. But it's just, but just like what did they do? So the one night they did, I recall that, you know. It's just like wow, it's interesting, you know. It's just, you know, it's like they
Well, I
gave back
mean,
to the
it's
community.
what
They're
it
like,
is.
no, not that community,
But what it does is it demasculates men,
right? Yeah, good
right?
point.
Because you're letting all this energy out, and you're not really like going on a 5 mile run. You're not doing, 70 push-ups. You're rooting for the guy who's in impeccable shape, and you're projecting yourself into that. I talked about this before on the podcast, but just again, like everybody right now, they're jumping up and down. Most of them are men, right? They're like exerting energy like crazy because they're happy, right?
But
They're
zero,
happy.
but you have to understand, for me, like I've always thought that sport enthusiasts or sport freaks or fanatics, I just thought they were strange, bro. I wanted nothing to do with that. Why go to the sports bar and get drunk? Like it just wasn't something for me. I looked at sport fanatics. I was like, damn, you guys are completely wasting your fucking time.
It
Yeah,
is.
but it makes sense though, Mondo, because you have so much going on in your life, dude. Think about that. Like, and I'm not trying to say they don't have stuff going on, but their sports takes a big part of their life. And when you do that, it limits shit you can do. I mean, I grew up, it's funny, I grew up in a real Güero community, man. Football comes around and they set their whole schedule around that shit. It's almost like it's just a
It's like a
cultural
religion.
time. Yes, yes. And I mean, but here's the
But
thing though,
it's a false religion in the sense that
but they ain't got nothing else.
the
They ain't got nothing else.
conversation, but what they have is their imagination and the conversation that comes about the game, like this. He should have pitched it right there. Oh, he should have did that. And then they get into arguments. What do you mean? This and that. Man, if they still had that player from so and so, we would be winning the World Series. And it's like this.
It's all about stats, right?
Yeah, but they don't have any bearing on the coach, on the team, on the game. We're having this conversation and it's heated and it's do you guys get what I'm saying?
And-
Like there's
and-
a lot invested.
And the
in-
worst part about it, these people that you're talking about, they're getting paid millions to play a game that they love to do.
Right. Did they really, honestly, don't give a shit if they win or lose because they're still going to get paid.
Yep.
I know they put a lot of like, I want to be a champion and I want to have a ring and all that. But at the end of the day, do you think they're going to go home sad because they, the only time they would get concerned is if they didn't get paid.
Yep.
And if you are going home going, oh, I ain't satisfied into your $1 million house and your $300,000 car with a 4-month vacation, like you're ungrateful. And this is what we're trying to fight against. But sometimes we get wrapped up into it. So I like this topic. I like the topic of reverting back to something like myself. Like I reverted back, like really I had no interest in watching this. But then I found myself watching it with Sky, and I found myself watching it with my son. And then you get, sucked back into it, right? And
But Ruben, can I say this? I think right now, and this is just in the society right now, it's totally men versus women right now. And does that make sense? I don't know if you got agree or disagree, but it's a very like a male-centered like movement, and then this woman-centered movement, and it's funny to me because
what I'm trying to point out is how spiritual it could be, right? Because when we talk about like emotions, we're talking about spiritual, right? Because that emotion, it brings up that happiness, that disappointment, like to the point, like if let's say for instance this was game 7 and we lost, what would the feeling be?
Yeah.
Right? The feeling wouldn't be what most people are experiencing right now, which is overwhelming joy. They're gonna remember this for the rest of their life. And it didn't give them shit other than them able to see it. That's all it gave them. You're gonna witness my win over this team. And that's it. That's all you got out of it.
And they're all multimillionaires.
Yeah. And they all go to the bank and they go, yeah.
They don't go to eat where you eat. They don't,
Nope.
right? They
Nope.
right? They don't
Nope.
stay where you stay.
Nope. They don't. They
You practically never see them, right? Like,
exactly. Doesn't
well
really-
during baseball season they're really they're really either on a bus or on a plane or staying in a hotel. I mean, it's just interesting if you really start to think about their lives. But again, do we really need to think about their life? We just go, we try to root for them, But again, I think it's something that if you have things going on in your life, the game could be kind of, I don't know, we use that word, kind of novelty, something I do. But some people, they don't have a lot going on in their life, so that becomes a big part of their life. And so you're going to see those people out
But it's not
tonight.
just in my opinion, it's not just a few people. If you look at that
Of course
stadium,
not.
if you
It's
look
a
at that stadium,
multi-million-dollar
every
industry.
single one of those people in that
Right.
stadium was that person. And that's like 20,000 people.
But it's going to be a lot of people. And the thing is, I think myself, okay, I'm not a Dodger fan, like I said, but I think of people that love the Dodgers. And I think just where I am now, I'm happy for them. I'm happy for the homie that's like, because I used to be a hater, like, but no, man, it's like you got to really, because here's the thing, I'm going to say this. As much money as you put into it, that World Series is meaning. It's not something that you buy. You could spend money on it, but the Yankees probably spent more money than the Dodgers did, and they lost. And so it's just, and they're not going to remember who lost. You don't remember who the fuck lost. You usually remember the winner, and so it's just interesting.
What I'm trying to point out is that even the shape of the diamond, right? Everything about that game, when you break it down in terms of shape, because it looks like the diamond on the field looks like a Masonic symbol. You can draw out the Masonic symbol on it, right? They're using a ball, which represents maybe the semen in getting the inception of pregnancy. There's a lot of magic in that game, is what I'm trying to say. All those people aren't going crazy just because. There's a lot of magic, right? Here's one, and I'm calling it magic because they're playing with your emotions. Right?
I get a kick out of this, man. Go with it.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
No,
it makes me laugh because, okay, like, I have a story about this.
Sense, it makes complete sense, right?
Well, because look, think about it. They showed a picture of the pitcher when he was, how old was he? 7?
Yeah.
About 7 or 8.
7, 8 years old.
Holding up a sign. One day, I don't know what the sign said. Something about, one day I'm going to be a pitcher doing this, right? He was 7 years old. The people are looking at that, right? That whole story, that whole magical story to wrap you into baseball so that you could go, I want to pay the $500 ticket. I want to pay the $200 jersey. I want to feel that moment where I feel happy. I walk away with nothing, but the team makes $1 billion. They're using your emotion to make money. It's all Masonically done. These games are just, that's what I'm trying to point out. It's not just a game. It's a very, very
sophisticated money laundering scheme.
Hey, but in the chat, the homie's got important man. Good point. And he said, Dodger history is cemented with LA, Chavez Ravine, eminent domain. And baseball as a whole is really interesting, and it spread big expansion. Happened World War II. Capitalism ruins the sport. Well said. You got to think about it. People don't realize what was going on in the world during all this time.
These owners, though, bro, right?
Well, they want to make everybody feel good. America,
These people who own these teams, they're richer than the whole team, right?
Right.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They're the overlords. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think you hand out $68 million to one person and you're not balling? I was telling this guy on the way over here. I go, that fucking player right there, he makes more than the most top-notch heart surgeon, brain surgeon. He probably makes more than a whole team of doctors that have went to school most of their lives and have saved important people's lives, children's lives. He makes probably 10, 15, 20 times their salary.
Yeah. And he gets a check cut to him.
Yeah.
Right.
Because there's that owner.
Right. He gets $68 million a year. A year. It turned out to be $32,000 an hour.
Yeah.
$32,000 an hour.
Well, like the homie right
guess
here
what?
in the chat says, they celebrate no matter who wins.
Good point.
Yes.
Good point.
Absolutely.
Because at that rate, you don't do
so now
shit
let's
if you're not
take it
going to
deeper.
win.
Let's go deeper down the rabbit hole. So if they celebrate who wins, right? And we're talking about the National League and the American League, and we're talking about baseball. What do you think happens on the upper level? Where countries are warring with each other. They don't give a fuck who loses.
Right. Because they all get paid.
Same fucking thing, bro. It's like everything we're seeing in the media, whether it comes from sports, whether it comes from movies, whether it comes from politics, at the end of the day, they're all in a secret room talking to each other.
Okay, you're right. All the dudes, all the guys. Okay, so it's interesting, bro. Okay, I went to
The good old
college.
boys, right?
Well,
That's
I
the
mean,
name.
bro, they call it the yeah, exactly. The good old boy.
There's a
there's
term.
no
It's the good old boys.
yes, there's no women in any of their shit. Okay, and this was my point. This is my point of the story. So I remember being in LA, living in LA, and on a Sunday, it's different sport, same shit though. I had this friend of mine, this girl that I met in Denver, and she was a belly dancer, and so she came to visit me. And so we were there in my room Sunday morning, and all the guys are out. You could hear them cheering for the shit, and she goes, "Don't you want to go out there and watch football with those guys?" And I just looked at her like, "Okay, do you want me to go out there and watch football with those guys?" She goes, "No, of course not." I said, "Then why would you ask me that?" I said, "I'd rather be in here with you. Why would I be out there watching football when there's nothing out there for me?" And she just got a big old smile, and I was like, "Damn, I had a bigger smile." But it's just funny to me. I just was never, I'm glad, Sky, you understand. My flow's different, man, because since I was a kid, man, always the white boys picked on me all the time, man, and they did it just they wanted to feel better. It's like, dude, so I learned I just didn't like them, and so I just learned to hang out with the girls. I'm not gay, but I would rather hang out with the girls. And it just was so a lot of that stuff to me is so misogynistic or man, it's all man shit.
Misogynistic.
But I don't even say that word. Fuck, I'm not even into that. You know me, man. Like I don't.
And then you hear the story on why like I became you have that story, right? And everyone has their own stories and they have to live through their own experiences. But my experience was I was so poor, that's all I had. When the team won, I felt like, okay, cool.
But that's a good point.
Oh, they're in my city.
That's a good point, though.
Like at least I could feel
I could fucking see the stadium over there.
Right.
Yes.
At least I could. You know what? And that's the crazy part about my life is that my first Dodger game and Laker game was when I was extraordinarily wealthy. Right? Which told me that these games are just really for really, really rich people. We get to experience them, right? But they're made, not only are they made for rich people or wealthy people or well-off people. And when I'm talking about wealthy is like, man, my mom used to struggle paying the rent. We struggle paying the rent. You know what I mean? It's like these people don't even think about that.
World Series first base seats are $8,000.
Shit.
$8,000.
Oh man,
$8,000. Wow.
That's a lot of Molly Nolly superfoods.
Man, that's like if we had $8,000, that for one fucking sandwich. I mean, come on. But what I'm trying to point out too is to kind of go deeper, look deeper and deeper. I know because I got wrapped into it and I was like, what is making me focus on this? I'm not usually into this. But it was, I think, the hidden mysticism of that game, how it emotionally wraps you up. And you can't, it's just kind of like a vacuum. It sucks you into this energy. And now you feel like, I felt like that poor kid again going, oh, wow.
Did it have anything to do because it was the Dodgers? What if it was like the Diamondbacks? You probably wouldn't give a fuck.
Not even give a shit.
Right? But it was the Dodgers. It was our home team.
It was me being 9 years old, fucking watching Fernando Valenzuela pitch in the fucking World Series. It was me watching Kirk Gibson hit the fucking winning home run, walk-off home run. That
Tommy Lasorda and shit dancing around.
It wasn't like, it was like, oh, wow, I got to meet a Dodger and he changed my life. He gave me some good advice. He let me play and run on the base. It wasn't none of that. It was just all the emotional draw that game creates using those symbols and those geometric shapes. In my opinion.
And
this is my opinion.
Obviously,
this is just my opinion.
It's a production, though, right?
Exactly.
It's all it is. It's a fucking production.
Because you said it just a minute ago. You said at the end of the day, the owners are shaking hands. They're all going to go to some sort of a dinner or some sort of retreat together.
How many tickets do we sell? How many people were watching it? Who gives a fuck who won?
Major League Baseball, fucking, we're all in it together, and
it's a good party.
It's elitist and it just invokes all this emotion. And I know because I just witnessed it on the street where we have Malinali Superfoods is on Whittier Boulevard. It's going nuts.
Yeah, but Ruben, I think what's interesting is just to me, what I see here It's what the United States feeds its people and feeds the world. It feeds us a dream.
There you
A
go.
lot of people buy into that dream, and whatever it is, it's like. And I've always said this: part of the problem with this country is that everyone thinks they're going to be rich, and it doesn't work that way, man. And it's just like they think they're going to be rich, so they vote their benefit, thinking, okay, I will, and it just doesn't work that way. It's just interesting. But that's just one of the things. Same things the sports. You got all these kids trying to play basketball because they want to be just like Mike, and it's like the numbers just show it. But again, too, they're selling us a dream, and we buy into that shit. And it's like the more you buy into it, the more you're chasing the dream. And the next thing you're 86 years old, fucking buying those lottery tickets, and fucking you're gonna win eventually. While some motherfucker, that everybody's playing, and only one motherfucker wins. And even sometimes they don't win. You know how sometimes nobody wins.
Mhm.
Think about that.
Mhm.
Then fuckers, it's just we're like these. I don't know how to say it. It's like when you're unconscious, it's like the bells light you up. You see a bell, and it's kind of like. And I don't know if you understand this, but you price your shit. Okay, I have my shirts back here, and I'll price them, and I'll have one shirt that's more expensive than the rest. It doesn't matter if it's the same. Everyone's gonna say, "Oh, that one's better." That one, and they'll tell you why, but it's just fucking in your head, and it's that same shit. It's just you're fed a dream, and you just follow into it. And I just understand it because I lived in this world where I didn't grow up with raza. I grew up with America. Like I trip out because, man, living in East LA where you're all brown, that's a different America, man. And the fucking out here, it's just these motherfuckers think they're from here, and they're just, it's a different world. They believe shit. Their dreams become reality. And for us, we struggle with it. But I mean, man, we can make our dreams come true. It's just that once you stop following their dream, it's kind of like I told them, was it like there's some African homies, and they were like, if you're chasing a dream that's not your culture, you'll never get there. You got to find your dream that's going to make you. Because I mean, you think about it. If you were a black man, you go back in time. You go back at the wrong time, man. Not good. People don't realize that. If you're a woman, you go back in time. Not good. You're not even allowed to talk. You're not even allowed to vote. Like we're this society that's evolving, and people think that we're at apex. No, no. Remember, they stopped slavery, and then they allowed women to vote. Like that's part of this progress. They're starting to let us say, okay, now you get to be American. Like what the fuck? No, fuck that. You keep that shit. Let your shit wild out, and while your shit's wilding out, we're gonna evolve the new age, and the new age is. It ain't like that. We're not. We're dreaming a different dream. You know that, Ruben. Our dream's different. And I mean, but I don't have to kill the dog. Bless them, man. Have fun. If I could go out, but don't destroy your shit. Keep your city cool. Don't hurt
No, I,
anybody.
I think it's
Like,
Yo, Zero, do you allow your kids to play sports?
yeah. If they want to play sports, go for it. Do it. Just no. This not. I'm not trying, but I'm trying to teach them how to understand what's placed in front of them. Right?
Because you know what they tell you. Because I was playing for the YMCA. They just tell you, yeah, you learn how to be a team.
what sport did you play, Mondo?
Basketball
Huh. And what did you learn from
and
it?
football.
Okay, well, yeah. What did you learn from it, though? How did you?
Yeah, you have to communicate.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way around it. See, communication. You have to talk to your
Hello, if you're gonna win.
yeah. And the whole point is to win.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, I like my
Good
son.
point.
My son, if it's not a good idea to
Like Zero, if you see your son and people start telling you, "Hey, man, your son's pretty good," are you gonna turn into that father where like, "Fuck, dude,
No.
I need to put him in the NBA right now"?
no, absolutely not. Because
the
I
majority of
also
these
tell my
players,
son-
bro, probably has some vicious ass parents, dude. That were just like,
yeah, like that guy. Remember that Raiders quarterback, and his dad was like super into like making him the best quarterback in the NFL. And
Was that Maravich?
yeah, there you go. Fucking drove the dude crazy. No, if my kid is enjoying playing the game, that's what I'm riding with. The minute he stops enjoying playing the game, I'm gonna tell him, hey, it's just a game. Snap out of it.
Hey, but you know what though, Ruben? Lowry's how old is he? He's 8 years old, right?
He's not.
9. Okay, well, dude, but most of your kids are already like But even that kid, he's already baked, man. Like he's done. He's the
Mhm.
way he's gonna be. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, like you can say you're trying to change him, but like, but again, too, I say this with
No,
respect.
I don't try to change him.
Your
I
kids
try
are on a good way. You
to
know?
inform him. I inform him about what this is. Like, don't get sad over a game. This game isn't, real.
Oh
Like,
my God, my dad gave me that speech, but my dad hit me hard with that shit. That I stopped following sports shit a long time ago. But my dad, he just, yeah, pretty much hit me hard with it. But I mean, he just did it because he was upset the A's fucking sold all their players off. It was the wrong reason to bum me out, but eventually it was the, you know what I mean? It worked out. But it's just, I learned a long time ago
and
that they
see,
don't
and
do
that's
anything
what
for
and
us.
that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this football game, this game. This is almost like looking at a wrestling match and going, "Damn, I'm disappointed that fucking Hulk Hogan didn't win the championship,"
Now,
knowing
Ruben, no, it's true. Look, I remember a Metro conference, man.
knowing
We
it
were
was scripted.
no, no, right. I
Were
remember a
you ever
Metro
into
conference.
boxing? Like, following Julio Cesar Chavez or
Yeah, of course.
saying?
Growing up as a kid,
Oscar De La Hoya?
Growing up as a kid, all I had was my friends' houses who had cable, and I got to go there, with this special event happening, and it usually like Roberto Duran. We watched all those fights, Roberto Duran and fucking what was the name of Marvelous Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray
Sugar
Leonard,
Ray Leonard.
all them. And you know what's crazy? I ended up meeting him.
Right, that with the guy with the heavy hands, and
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
not the end of that, but that was
super
his,
heavy fucking hands.
right, right,
But
right.
sports. It's sometimes for poor people is the only hope they have. Like Daniel was saying, they sell us a dream. They sell us this ability that
But
one.
bro, it's not our only hope,
And it's
but
fucked
it's
up
it's
in this
glorified.
society. Like they tell you as a kid, hey man, if you go pro, you're gonna become a millionaire.
Right,
Fuck, dude.
right, and that's like, and that's like not even. That's so hard to do.
It is.
It's so hard to do to be a. I knew a couple of my nephews, or my ex partners' nephews, were really good at it, but they just were one in a million, right? Who knows how you get to be a major league baseball player and see that all the way through. Not what I'm trying to say is you're trying to make a bullseye in the size of a. You know what I mean? Like there's no way. It's like that doesn't happen to everyone. There's only certain numbers of players on a team. But yet, if you ask all the kids in America what would they rather be when they grow up, what are they gonna say? Football player, baseball player, basketball player.
They're not gonna say attorney or doctor.
No, they're not gonna say, "Oh, I want to be a damn ass dope ass neurosurgeon. I want to be a great therapist."
Hey, but you know what's interesting when you're saying that you think about TikTok and how again too I don't have TikTok, but how TikTok is so rampant that in China, the TikTok there, when you ask the kids what they want to be a lawyer, a doctor. They all those things that you say in China, the kids say that's what they want to do, and that's part of the TikTok that they allow them to see. It's interesting,
Yeah, they don't in China, from what I've read, is that they don't allow like silly, you know.
Well, I don't think that's so good either, but I'm just saying it's
Yeah, you
interesting how
can't.
what their kids aspire
The
for.
algorithm
Yeah.
only picks up like intelligent, like, oh, I'm a doctor. Oh, I just finished reading this book, and the algorithm only picks up things that are affecting them in a positive way, right? Like it's not like.
Yeah, but who decides that? What's
Well, the
positive
government,
or not?
I'm not saying
Yeah.
it's a good thing. I'm just saying that they don't get to see the guy pulling up his shirt and something stupid like that. You know what I mean? And
Well, right,
here
right.
on this
No, and I don't want to see
this
that
side of
either.
the world, on this side of the world, though, the guy that lifts up his shirt like that and has millions of followers, guess what? He's making 12 grand a month on TikTok.
Yeah, but I think this goes back to what the homie was saying about sports. Capitalism fucks it up. Money fucks shit up. It's true because money's not real, but it is real to some extent. It's a tool that we use, but it's a tool that first and foremost, if you don't look like the original people that created the dollar, you're already at a disadvantage, in terms of like loans and banks and, money like that. That's what I learned. Kind of bothered me that, I just kind of knew that just from my background, I'm less apt to get loans. I'm less apt to get, accepted to get a house. It's interesting. The data supports that. And it's like, man, we're not all on an equal playing field, which is why it's also too makes our dreams harder to attain, especially when our dreams are material shit. because in this time right now, money is about material shit. Because if you don't have money, you gather different types of value in your things, and it makes you just a different reality,
Well,
you know.
that's more. I think when it comes to that, when we're looking at things in that way, then it's about how you dream, not
Right.
what you can get. What you can chase as a dream. In other words, I'm a recording artist. Some people say that if I didn't have a hit record, if I didn't make $1 million, if I didn't go on this world tour, I was not a recording artist, right? In their
Right.
dream, in their dream, because that's their ultimate dream, right? They're chasing that dream where they get to be a millionaire and they get to travel the world. And how easy is it,
But I
right?
guess too, Ruben, I think that, and it's kind of even recent, is it for us as individuals, especially as a man and a man of color, to feel value in your life and value of who you are, and especially if you don't have a big bank account, you don't have a capital wealth, because we've had, like I've seen somebody saying generational wealth, and we fortunately are beginning to share it and be part of generational wealth, but that's been held out from us, and so it's something that, and you look at yourself, that the stuff that you're leaving your kids, it's a very, like you look at where your kids are experience wise, and those are valuable things, and
Well, here's the thing. My grandfather was very focused, very driven. He bought a house. I remember growing up in that house and him telling me the whole time in that house that this was my house. This is your house, son. This is your house. When I'm gone, this will be your house. This will be your house. The minute he died, my mom sold it. So it wasn't my house, right?
well, no, it was your house
My
until
point
he
is,
died,
well, it was.
because he
My
was telling
point
you the
is,
truth.
my point is though, I would rather have him said, focus on spirulina, focus on chia seed, focus on being a good man in your life. Focus on not trying to tell the truth to every single person you meet. That is going to gain you wealth. That's going to open doors for you. Not tell me that he's going to leave me this house that's going to be left to my mom, that's going to be sold and used up. We have to define what wealth is. And I get it, man. Don't get me wrong. I'm in the same mess as everyone else that don't have enough money to pay what they need to pay.
Bro, for my entire life, I've been walking on eggshells financially, but I wake up motivated every day. You know,
And you're no
I'm
longer
rich.
walking on eggshells,
You know what
right,
I'm saying?
Mondo? You're no longer like that, though, right?
I hope one day I can say that. You know?
Well, see,
Oh,
here's the
okay. I
thing,
mean, but
though.
it's,
Here's
yeah,
the thing, and
because
I'm
I don't know
glad
if
you
you
said
ever
that.
get over that, man.
I'm glad you said that, though, Armando, because you're like, one day, one day. But what I've been experiencing in terms of wealth recently was that I used to weigh myself on the scale, and I used to always be a certain way. I used to always be a certain way. But in the past years, have been stripping away what wealth is. Wealth is intelligence, spiritual connection, healthy body, healthy outlook.
Health is wealth.
It's
Health is well.
having control of your tonal. Your tonal is your hands, your eyes, your ears, your heart, your body. That is wealth. Being able to navigate in a very dangerous environment is wealth. This is a dangerous environment. No matter if you see street signs, no matter if you see police officers, no matter if you see a government, this is a dangerous place to live in. And if you have your tonal at impeccable function, that is how you create wealth, in my opinion. Because I've been wealthy, like really wealthy. Daniel was there, and I was super overweight. I couldn't run a block. I ignored my children. I was on the road to being sick. That's not wealth. Wealth is going inside and dealing with life and understanding that life changes and you change with it. That's how we survive in a very dangerous environment. That's how we survive genocide. That's how we survive genocide. That's how we still talk about LA natives, right? That never goes away. That's never going to go away. That's who I am. It's what I focus on. That is my wealth. I just thought I would throw that
I'm
out
just
there.
glad you're not like a big Dodger fanatic, bro.
I was though. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
he was. He
I'm not
was.
gonna lie. I was.
Hey.
But I was able to break the
So when you
colony.
were wealthy, you were like, yo, I want to get that jersey.
Yeah.
The not the silk screen, the stitching jersey. You know what I'm
No.
saying? Like, you were like,
Right.
kind of, remember?
When I
Right.
That makes
Right.
a big
Right.
difference. You know, I want the real jersey.
bro, let me
Of
tell you,
course.
look, I don't,
Want to be legit.
I'm not trying to brag. I'm not trying to brag, but I wanted to give what I didn't have. Remember, I was a poor kid who never stepped his foot into the stadium, right? And so one day, my ex-partner buys me basketball tickets to the NBA Finals. And I was able to take my son to the NBA Finals. We got to see Kobe play the Hornets. After the game, we walk outside to the memorabilia right there in the middle of the thing, and my son goes, I want that ball. And it was a signed Kobe ball, and I bought it for him. I wanted him to experience everything I never got to experience. And you know what? Right now, that kid, he works at Chase Center. He sets up the games for NBA play, the whole like shebang, the whole audio. Like he gets to be on the floor with the basketball players. To him, that was wealth. To him, that was, and right now in his life, that's what it is. He can be on cloud nine. The guy has no kids. He's working for a union and he's working for the NBA. One of his favorite sports. One of his favorite sports. The other sport, he got to be cameraman for the Giants. He did a kiss cam and he was able to be on the field and see players, you know?
How many kids did you have at his age?
How many kids did I have at his age? What do you mean?
Is that a hard question?
How many kids did I have at his
When
age?
you were his age?
24.
You
Two.
had 24 kids?
No, I had 2 kids. At that age, I had 2 kids.
I was gonna say, I'm
24.
just perspective. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you said, and he has no kids, and I think to myself, I don't know. You said that, I just think to myself, okay. Because man, sometimes I think kids add life. I mean, I don't have kids, but you know,
No, I'm not saying it in that
no,
way.
no, no. I
What
just
I'm
say
saying is that I
out,
gave
you
him
know?
a shot. I gave him a shot to not live in a chaotic environment, one, where we grew up. We grew up in poor, chaotic environments, dysfunctional environments. I'm not saying that my household wasn't dysfunctional because that's why me and my partners are no longer together. But I think the kids, we focused on having the kids safe, letting them dream and achieve those dreams as best as they can. And I think we did a good job, and all of them are doing a great job trying to navigate this world. And I'm just guiding from the bench.
Yeah. But you know, too, Ruben, I also wanted to throw into that we're coming up on Halloween tomorrow, and we've got Day of the Dead going on this weekend. And I wanted to say, are we just I could always is the Malinali Superfoods going on this weekend? Are we still on?
Yeah, no, we're still. I think from the last I heard from the vendors' standpoint that there was 10 vendors, so we'll have something.
Yeah, because my plan was to do a Day of the Dead, little Day of the Dead stuff on Sunday. But when you're talking about wealth and health, I myself, my personal wealth is I'm Malinali, so I'm the La Hierba. So this is the part of the year where I do my best to grow the best flower that I can, and so you can see some of it hanging in the background, but I was planning to be at Malinali this Friday and just trying to share my wealth that I've got because my wealth isn't money, but it is green. But the thing is that I like to, I don't know, I just feel like my life, I feel successful, but I'm not, by no means I consider myself a wealthy person, but I've never measured my success through money because in my life, I was surrounded by people that had money, and they were just the worst people. And that maybe that's just my experience, but and so it kind of just, granted, I understand money's important, but I don't know. I just didn't. But the point I'm saying is that, like, I feel like it's growing flowers and growing plants is a love of mine, and I feel like right now, people were really giving me a good response on the gardening that I do, and so. Um, I just wanted to share that you're talking about the wealth and stuff. For me, the wealth for me has been having the time, having the understanding, having the space to have a garden and to be able to every day, be part of a living organism that I can actually affect, but it's part of my dream too. And so for me, part of my dream is sharing my sign, sharing the flowers that I do, and so, and I hope that this time of the year for us, when this is the time of the year when the essence of the old souls come back to us, and just not to throw people off, but coming back in the sense that the past souls have a stronger energy during these next days. There's a sequence of energies in the planet that certain souls come back at different times, and so and I miss my dog. I've been thinking about my dog this morning, man. Going on my route gardening, and this guy drove by, and the dog stuck his head out. He looked just like Omi. And, oh man, it made me melt. I mean, just to see my dog, I'm like, oh, I was thinking about her so much. Just, what I mean? And that's things. And I'm in that point in my life where things aren't making me so much mad, but I see things and it gets the love in me, And I have a friend of mine who goes, oh, I don't need to bring up the dog. I said, no, it's not a problem, man. I miss her, but it's love that I think of. And so, but again, Joe, I just wanted to say that I plan to be at the shop this weekend and to share. And also, I plan to be printing some stuff. So I don't know. We never have a raffle or anything, but if somebody wants to raffle something tonight, I'll promise them a garment if they show up at Molly Nolly Superfoods and flour. But you just have to show up and tell me, hey, you said on the podcast that you're going to give away a shirt.
That's a good idea.
Flour.
That's a good idea. The way to go.
And so I mean, because I know. I'll say this. I'm going to hook up Carla because Carla, she missed the raffle last week. I guess she was sleeping or something. But everyone was calling in, and we called the names out. But I said I'll set something aside for Carla so she comes by, just to keep us honest,
Right. But yeah, no, we're trying to create artists, kind of like an artist social club kind of thing that we're doing with Daniel, and we're gonna do it this Friday at Malinali. So whoever shows up, we'll find activity will be. But it's really a lot of my friends too. A lot of my friends are musicians, and hopefully we'll have some surprise stuff happening. But if not, we'll just be chatting away with each other. It's a good time to come through and kind of
Carla.
Kind of meet me and Daniel in person. If you would ever wanted to talk to us one-to-one, that would be the day to come in.
And this is in the heart of East LA, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, right there in Malinali. We're gonna have.
We'll be wearing blue.
After our
Dodger blue. But
we're having a social gathering of artists. And what I mean by artist is I don't mean like a painter or a poet, although those are very much welcome. But an artist of life, you could be just a cool vibe. You could be, in the right consciousness to be in that space, because the more creative people get together, the more we create solutions for what we think is a problem, right? It's almost like we try to free ourselves by protesting, but we're only using the tools. We're almost living protesting in a prison that we built ourselves, is what I'm trying to say. But in these social gatherings, we come up with creative solutions to show people that there is a way out. There is alternative ways of thinking, alternative ways of eating, alternative ways of praying and connecting. This is the type of movement that we know is going to take time, but we're going to start on Friday. So, just keep lookout. It's not going to be something that we're going to advertise, because we want it to be exclusive to those vibrations, right? Those, if you're meant to be there, you'll be there, and you'll.
And it's about Molly Nolly Superfoods. Because the thing is too, I realized, Ruben, after the last event, that a lot of people got around, and it was a really good circle. And I was happy because a lot of people were able to ask me questions about the calendar and such. And so I kind of wanted to emphasize on Day of the Dead and those things, because I was in a group online, and it's interesting to me, man, that like some of the people would say things like, "Oh, you can't do something; it's going to affect their journey." And I was like, "You got to be fucking kidding me!" That person really say that, but I mean, to think about that, Ruben, like people try to affect your life when you're alive. Okay, and these people are saying, "Well, if you do something after they die, it's gonna." And I'm like, "Dude, you're on something different." They're always dudes. They're always guys. It's never women. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, but
Oh,
the day
don't
of the
say
day.
that, Daniel. Come
No,
on.
but I'm
There's
telling
some
you, brother,
women
I
out
haven't
there
heard a
that
girl
go
say
off
dumb
the
shit like
chains,
that.
bro. I'm not trying to be,
I'm
you
just, I
know,
can only speak from experience, homie. I'm just telling you,
I don't
and
know.
maybe because dumb people, just speak louder. But I'm just saying, it's like, and the reason I say that, Ruben, think about it, man. Like, it's a the women bring them in and the women take them out. Okay. And a lot of times we're the men, we're the ones that kill them. But that's that aside, is it, it's not a ceremony where a man comes and says, "Oh, women, you need to do that." Shut up, dude. 'Cause I remember I was at a ceremony and this guy said, "At a Day of the Dead, él es Dios." Like, dude, get the fuck out of here. Did you really say that? And
Mhm.
it's like, no,
They say that a lot. They
but
say
that's
that
the
a lot.
colonized, dude. That's not us. Okay,
Mhm.
remember, we're the women. Like the women run this. You look at all the shit, and it's all the women do. So it's Ruben. When a man says, "I'm in charge," you're not Mashika no more. Okay, then you because its grandmother will tell that guy, "Hey, sit down, homie, sit down." And you got to know where we're at and who's in charge. And
Well,
this
the
is
people
death.
that usually say that are concheros, so, and those concheros like follow more of a religious doctrine, more of a Catholic,
Exactly, religious
but they
doctrine.
mix it in with the
Yeah.
Aztec, you know,
Well, but
the-
Ruben, but you can't
teatro
say the
or whatever you
guy.
want to call
It's
it.
like, look, there's a woman and a man. We come out of the woman. We don't come out of the man. Think about it. Their whole shit is a Virgin Mary.
Mm.
A Virgin Mary. That think about that mindset. Women can't have sex, and if they do, like it's just weird shit. Like, man, I don't like that. I think she's got to have sex for us to have kids. And if you're telling me that no, that's just some weird shit, and it's about time somebody's put their foot down and say, "Hey, man, you guys, you can go outside. Okay, don't be telling the women what to do because we've been coming out of women since I came out of my mom. I don't know you. I mean, you all came out of your mom, right?
I just think that sometimes people,
Thank you. I'm
no,
just saying it's
no, yeah,
the
no,
unspoken.
I get it. No, but that, I mean, but Daniel, I mean, that's like, I'm glad that you had the
No,
experience you had
no,
with
no. But somebody brought it up. It's exactly the rosary. Think about
um,
the rosary. They do the rosary so that your soul goes. Dude, their whole shit's about judgment. And you think about everything this Day of the Dead. There's no judgment at all. Nowhere. The moment you judge, you're not playing our game no more. You're on their shit.
and we've discussed this over the podcast where we know that, you know, the religious doctrine that was brought by the Bible creates good and bad. When you have good and bad, then there's a savior in the middle, right? And whoever's, you know, the narcissist ahead of that, you know, cult, right, is the leader, right? A lot of people have said that, you know, the person in the Bible is actually the bad guy. I don't want to say names because I don't want to get into that.
If it's a man, Ruben, it's all you got to know.
Well, no, in this particular bad guy, he's androgynous. He's half man and half woman. You know, so these are the symbols that they use.
Right. Another true story to shoot.
Right.
Again,
The
too, man. Like,
Baphomet,
look,
right?
you look at the Mexica
The
stone.
Baphomet is half man, half woman. You know, so I mean, but and then we're going into esoteric teachings and things of that nature. But what I'm trying to say, getting back to what you have finished saying, like I love the fact that I feed off of individuals that had good experiences with their mom, and not to say that I had a terrible experience with my mom, but my mom put me in a lot of dangerous situations. My mom put me in very dangerous situations for weeks. So the experience that I have is a little different, meaning that I have to heal from those experiences because I have to get to a point where I have even met one person that hasn't hurt me in that way. You know what I mean? Like,
No, I do. You at the trip is, bro. Both your mom and my mom have the same name.
it's crazy.
I mean, dude,
Like
you and I are
totally polar
connected.
opposites. I
We're
mean,
no,
I'm
but the
not.
thing is, bro, when I met your mom, she looked like my grandmother, like my grandmother's
I
sister.
don't want the viewers to get a bad.
No, no, bro, this is the
I love
truth.
my mom.
No,
I
your mom's
go through
awesome.
my
She's still
mom.
alive. God bless your soul.
I went to
I love
therapy.
your mom, Lydia.
You know, yes, she called me for my birthday. You know all
Oh,
that.
happy birthday! Happy belated birthday too, Zero.
Oh,
What are you
thank
now?
you.
32.
Oh, Yeah, I'm 32.
Crazy, dude. I know. I remember when your 30th birthday was crazy, man. Yeah.
I know, bro. We had fun, man. Me and Daniel.
No, no, I know, man.
Life.
Hey, but seriously, how old are you? Like 32? 33? How old are you
No,
now?
I'm 50 years old.
What the fuck? I told somebody you were 40 today.
No
Oh my
idea.
God, I gotta call him back.
Yeah.
Dude, are you serious? You're 50. I'm
I turned
56.
50.
You're only
Yeah.
6 years younger than me?
Yes, sir.
What the fuck? I thought you were like 15 years younger, 10 years younger than me.
No, man. I'm only, yeah. I'm
Oh
50.
damn,
I
dude. I'm
just turned
so
50 yesterday, and
actually I've been
shout out to my family who took me out to
okay.
dinner. Shout out to my
Cool. Hey, but
had a
my
nice little
bad.
family dinner.
Hey, I just finished making 3 batches of wax, and so yeah, I've got green crack, Chiquita banana, and slurricane. And so I'm a little, in the wax museum this evening. But again, too, it's just good to represent our peeps, man, and like just to I don't know,
No,
man. I feel
and I get you. I mean, in terms of like getting back to the women thing, like I love that you had that experience, and my boys had a positive experience with their matriarch in their life. I've been learning by going up to Canada and interacting with the natives up there who are very matriarchal off the bat. They're majority matriarchal up there. That means they had very healthy women in their lives. And not to say that we did it. I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying that my experience with my mother, she was not a protector. I'm okay. I forgave her. I love her. I understand colonization fucks everything up.
but that's healthy, brother. It's so healthy for you to say that because I did the same thing with my dad. I had to reach a point to like, fuck, this guy did his best, and
Yeah.
maybe his best wasn't as good as it should have been, in my opinion, but fuck, he's still here, But again, too, Ruben, that's part of our own evolution. Like when we begin to crush the fucking caca, that we just shit it out and let it go. You know what I mean? Like a lot of stuff we're not intended to hold on to. But part of it too, though, Ruben, you think about what you're saying. We're led this dream and it's bullshit. And so for me, I gave up that dream a long time ago. So my life is so fulfilled because I chase stuff that fulfills my life. Like going to Canada with you fulfilled my life. Like doing art, like getting back on the wheel, making more shirts. Like thinking of
And that to me right there is like, getting into that creative mode where outside things aren't more important than what you create, right? Like a baseball game isn't more important than your son, or your daughter, your wife, or your business, or your family, or your brother, or your sister. Sometimes we look
But it's a
externally.
sad reality. But there's a lot of men out there that will pick a baseball game over their goddamn son
or their brother,
or their brother.
Yeah, like,
But what's interesting too, though, on that same note, and I've heard of this too and seen this, is that a man will go after ceremony and leave his family behind. And it's like,
sometimes, yes.
And I'm just saying that, but
Stories
that's
too.
because in the Mexica culture and our Mexica stories, they tell stories of that.
And I
Those
have
are
to
things.
admit, when I was wealthy, I had to leave my home for a couple of days a week. It was like not like for months at a time or anything like that. But that right there alone had a repercussion on my relationship. So I have to take accountability for that. And those are the lessons that we learn in life. But the good news is that my kids are super happy. I talked to them yesterday. They were, celebrating my birthday. They were thanking me for their childhood.
Wow. Dude,
And
that's really good, Ruben. Like, that's really unique. A lot of kids don't do that with their parents.
no, they were really cool, and they were really good responses. That was inspired by my ex-partner. She said, why don't you tell your dad one of your favorite memories? And they all went down the line and told me
Wow.
something they remember as a child that connects me to them.
And you didn't take video? You didn't fucking say, hey, let's
No, that was a little like private moment that I had with
Okay.
my children, and
You sure you want to play it over and over again? Okay, that's kind of
no,
but I mean that's cool.
and
I
I
guess I wanted
do.
to see it.
I do in my heart, because all that told me was that I created a safe space where they could smile. Remember, a warrior
Right.
carries a butterfly in his hand while we
Right,
face off the
right,
world, right? There
right.
was nothing in my hand that I was in my responsibility that was going to distort those lives.
Right.
I was going to do everything in my power to keep that safe. So that's what I did. And they told me that on my birthday yesterday. And I took it like an honor. Like it was an honor to be in their lives in that way. So, I mean, I think those are the things that, like that right there, that what I described right there, my birthday experience is more than watching the World Series win, you know. But for some, like you said, Armando, it's not. Some they want to go back to that nostalgic moment when they were 10 years old and they saw that game winning whatever and they saw the championship and now they're 50 years old trying to relive that experience, you know.
Hey, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but Mondo, do you plan to have kids?
Um,
I mean, you don't have to answer,
one
but
day. I've taken so many risks. I don't know. Maybe I'm sterile.
you're dumb. That's dumb. But I mean, bro, but
I smoked too much weed in my life. You know what
dude, weed ain't gonna do it. But the thing is, though, bro, I'm glad that at least you got a partner. You know what I mean? That you, who is a successful individual, that you've got a partner that's with you. Because I think it's tough to be successful by yourself. You know, you can have someone have your back, and I mean, someone that completes you. It's just, because Ruben, even though at the end you're by yourself, but for a long time you had a team. And so it just.
No,
Because I think of that too, man. I
he
think
was-
I'm just hard to deal with.
I had someone who was very attentive to the children and and then our, as we met very young, and there was still a lot of life that we both need to live. So, but at the end of the day, the stories are positive, and at least when it comes to our children, because we made a commitment to the fire that we would keep the next 7 generations healthy and strong and happy, and that's all we have to do. That's all we have to do, LA natives, community, LA natives, brothers and sisters. That's all we have to do. Just put your focus on making the next 7 generations safe and happy, and the rest will take care of itself.
Hey, well, Ruben, I was gonna say, I was thinking about it, man. I can't just be telling everybody they come and get a shirt and free flour. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say this: for that Friday event, I'm gonna ask people, what is the color blue in Nahuatl?
There
Okay?
it is.
And so they're gonna tell me what the color is blue in Nahuatl. So I know that the color of Nahuatl in blue is Maklaktik. So if you remember that word, maklaktik, and trying to think, what does that word sound like? I'm even going to
Sounds
write
like
it down.
10. Sounds
Yeah,
like 10.
it does. It is because maklakli is 10.
All right. So then if Daniel's, how many shirts are you going to give away, Daniel? If
Well,
people-
dude, you have to don't go crazy on me, but people just have to show up and then just say,
so the
"Hey, I
first,
heard."
like, let's just
No,
say the first 4 people.
no, I'll tell you what. I'll give away shirts until I don't have shirts.
There it is.
But I'm gonna ask them what's blue in Nahuatl.
And I want to throw 2 of my merch shirts into that too. So
And again, like I said, I'll also offer some flour. Maybe they don't do flour, but it's definitely a flour event because it's Day
So
of the Dead, But
so
and
this-
then go ahead.
So no, so this is just I guess that's a cool way to kind of give away things. Instead of giving it away on the show, we're gonna have this like kind of after hour party at the space, and it's gonna be an artist social thing. But if you did watch the podcast and you do know the name of the answer, you'll be getting merch. Let's just leave it at that until the merch is gone. Merch, and that
But and
will
I
be-
should have flour, flour well
It'll be
too.
whatever it
because-
is, whatever we decide to give away. But we already gave the code word away, right? The code word. All you got to do is show up to the event, say the code word, and you're gonna get a free shirt.
And just remember, maklaktik is blue and maklakli is 10.
Okay, but
Double
if you
check.
say 10, what if they say 10 instead of blue?
That doesn't count.
That's not the
Okay.
word.
That's
It's in
the word.
Nahuatl. You know what I'm saying? The word we're looking for the word in Nahuatl, and basically it's because I know a cat whose name is Maklakli.
Yeah, my boy.
Yeah, exactly that cat. And so, but it's just interesting how it's just nice because I think that the spot is filled with so much Mexica Mayan art and knowledge. Like the place is just very, it's a good place. It's like you're in a museum, And so, but I was also to just let everybody know or just give a little bit of knowledge about the Sempesochil. You know what the Sempesochil is?
No.
Okay, well, the Sempesochil,
Flower.
it's a marigold, the marigold flower.
That's
Okay,
the word for it in Nahuatl.
Bless you. Remember, so Sempesochil is Sempoali is 20, so it's the 20 flower. Sempesochi. So, but it's a 20 flower because Sempesochi, Sempoali, we're counts of 20. So we're Se, Ome, Ye, Naui, Makwili, Chico Se, Chico Me, Chico Ye, Chico Naui, Maklakli. Maklak is blue, so you know. Then you got Chico Se, Chico Me, Chico. I'm sorry, Maklakli Iwan Se, Maklakli Iwan Ome, Maklakli Iwan Ye, Maklakli Iwan Naui, Kastoli. Kastoli Iwan Se, Kastoli Iwan Ome, Kastoli Iwan Ye, Kastoli Iwan Naui, Sempoali. So we make up 20. So that 20, Sempesochi, the story goes, there was a war, there was a battle, and where the warriors had died on the field, the next day, where everybody laid, a marigold flower grew. And so it made sense that that orange flower represented a 20 count, that's a person's soul. And so they asked why the Sempesochi was part of that, and that's why that represented a soul that was on the other side already. And so they call it a marigold now, but it's just when we speak in Nahuatl, it gives us a background because our people and our language gave a story with all the words, you know. It's the same reason that it's Sempoali, it's the first 20. Just like Sewatl or Siwatlan is the place of the woman. The first one in water is the Siwatl. So
Really cool breakdown, Daniel. I mean, and think about it. When we speak Nahuatl, we're not speaking a language that was written. It's not
yeah,
written.
it was
Right?
spoken.
It's
Right.
spoken. Okay,
Very
so
good point.
now we know that. Now we know that Nahuatl was a spoken oral language. It didn't need to be written down. So then it's a certain frequency. And we all know that frequency is connected to creator. So the more we speak and learn Nahuatl and say these words, the more we're invoking that frequency back into our reality, into our lives. Right? And remember that frequency is thousands of years old. It's far outdates the Vatican. Their
Well, they use that information, Ruben. They use it. Well, they use it against us, but they use it to make money. You know
yeah,
what I
but
mean?
they
We
didn't.
didn't.
But they didn't develop Nahuatl.
No. But they use our knowledge, you know, in a different. It's kind of a devious way. You know what I mean? And so it's
But
yeah,
but the antidote to that is to maybe let's do some homework, and
right.
start going to YouTube and start to hear the Nahuatl.
Or
I recommend that you hear the Mandate de Cuauhtémoc in Nahuatl.
yes. Oh man, that's a good. You have to say too. I think of the homie that what's it? Ashinabe, our homie HK.
Hmm. Oh
And
yeah.
he was they had the and so but what he was talking about the Huitzil, okay, but and I said no, but if we'd say Huitzilopochtli, and it's like oh damn, then in Nahuatl it's actually hummingbird on the left,
Mm,
so then it's actually our heart, you know.
mm,
But again, in Nahuatl it paints a story,
right.
you know, and it's a beautiful story in our language. But again, it's and again, dude, I believe that if we just learn the language little by little, the next generation is going to take that and learn more and go with it, you know. And so,
So what they taught me is that Nahuatl, in terms of Nahuatl and Nahuatl thinking, is to take what you just finished saying, right? So now we know that Huitzlilupochtli is the hummingbird to the left, right?
yes,
And if the hummingbird to the left, metaphorically, the hummingbird to the left is our heart because it doesn't stop beating, right? Even when we're
exactly,
sleeping,
exactly.
right? It's still in motion and in life, right? It's our hummingbird, like our hummingbird
Well,
wing.
it resents willpower. Willpower
I
is what
was
it.
getting to that. I was getting to the
That's
point. Like
right.
our wings are relentlessly buzzing in the air, right? Because it's our will that drives us.
Yes,
Huitzlilupochtli, the Nahuatl frequency to unlock the code to your hummingbird to the left. There it is, laid down by our ancestors. Use it. Let it guide you. Let it be you. It was planted for you. It was developed and created for you. Your hummingbird to your left.
and think about this too, Ruben. The sacred duality. There's a sacred duality in everything that's in nature, and like I like when we think about Day of the Dead, death. The word for your center, your belly button, is Gishtli. It's where we're created. Gishtli. It's like in the middle of the word Mexico. The XI in there represents your Gishtli, your belly button. Well, when you die, it's called Mikishtli. It's the skull. And so Gishtli and Mikishtli, they're the two separates, and so the language is very, like you said, death is Mikishli and life is Gishli. So they're very close. And so the language is not complicated, and it's a beautiful, like, I think it's like a song, and if you hear, like when you hear people sing, it's an interesting sound, and I like it. I like hearing the words, and you're right, it's a beautiful,
Well, we're
like
creating, we're invoking a frequency.
yes. Like I like, one of my favorite words is Quetzalcoatl,
Right.
you know,
Because
it,
you know how they say like spelling, right? Like when you say words, you're spelling, right? You
right.
spell words, right? You're invoking spells. Okay, cool.
That's interesting.
You just said they learned from us,
Yes.
so they use that technique to manipulate us. But the code to break that manipulation is to just do your best to say those now what words, because the foundation was based on nature, and nature's connected to the source of life, which is creator.
And think about something, Rune. You said it. Okay, it's interesting. Okay, because sound is a vibration. So when we speak, okay, because we speak Nahuatl, that's our language. They write shit down. Okay,
Mhm.
there's no sound when you're
Right.
writing. So all their things, they're duping us by having us write. And so it's interesting because, I was telling you that. So I almost killed somebody yesterday, but it was because, man, he made me so mad that my frequency changed, and I had to back up. And man, I could see I was scaring everybody around me, and I needed to back up and not be that frequency, But it's just, our sound is strength. It's kind of like if you ever get people together and you want to cause, well, let's just say you want to let people know you're being serious. You bring a drum,
Mm.
and man, you could feel the boom, boom, and then that's it. Because we're there's real energy out there, and it's just that we're the ones that use it. It's just that they don't want us to use it. They don't want us to talk. They want us to write. Remember, they say because you wrote it down. No, we say because you say it's your word. And
Right.
so we're still on that frequency.
Good
And they're
point.
writing
Good
everything
point
down.
that, what when, like right now we're discussing our oral tradition by
Yes,
speaking now what,
yes, and it's going across
right?
and it's recording and going across again. And so
By
and it's
speaking now what, and
okay.
referring to ourselves as the hummingbird to the left, right? That Huitzli Lupochli, the hummingbird to the left, that is already an ancient frequency developed thousands of years ago that predates what came to conquer you.
right. Well, Ruben, it's Napol Nemowani. Okay, Napol Nemowani vocabulary.
Mm.
Okay, Napol Nemowani. It's our vocabulary.
Which
But
is
again, dude,
which
we're gonna.
Ipan Nemowani, right? Which is the creator, right? Ipan.
Oh shit! No, okay? That's what you know. I didn't know that. I hear that word, but I didn't know. But I know Napol Nemowani is our vocabulary. But yeah, because we become creator when we ride that frequency, and that's how I was explaining to you on the calendar. There's symbols that represent sound. Because we understood how to draw sound. They don't. Again, to man, we were just on a different frequency.
Mhm.
Kind of like they go to heaven. We don't go to heaven. We go to Miklan. Okay. In Miklan, everyone goes there. Their heaven only goes there. They judge you to go there. They're the ones that tell you go there.
I like that
Not
point
for
because
us.
we're like a tuning fork. Think of
Yes.
us like a tuning fork, right?
Yes. Exactly.
Our bloodline carries a certain, when
Frequency.
they hit the tuning fork, it vibrates at a certain, and it gives a
Frequency.
certain frequency, a
Yes.
resonance, right? A certain
Yes.
resonance. But if you don't hit the fork, it's not going to vibrate. How do you hit the fork? Huitzli lupochli. Set
also,
and nawi.
also sound. You could break glass with your voice.
Well, that my point is that when we use these words in any way we can, like tlasocamatli, I try,
Yeah.
when someone gives me tlasocamatli,
Yes. Yes.
right? Boom, I hit my tuning fork,
And it literally means thank you from the realm of my heart.
right? I'm even trying the word kema, amitla, right? When they say,
Yes.
when they tell me tlasocamatli, I'm like, kema, right? Dong, I'm hitting that tuning
Yes.
fork.
The frequency.
That frequency is
Because
being invoked. right?
And think about Ruben. Remember I was telling you this morning, man. We were having our discussion. I tell you, brother, it's what you don't see that you're a master in, and that's how do you measure that? How do you tell people that you're a master in what you don't see?
Hmm.
You don't need to, man, because you're already that master. And things that I'm saying is that like, material world is one world, man. That's your tonal. But your nagual is everything that you don't see. It's what gives spirit to the things that are. It's the magic that we add. It's the magic that you and Jenny created to make Tlawis.
Hmm.
Okay, it was that intention. It's like the intention that we have that this Friday, if it's just you and me trying on all the shirts, burning all the flowers, so be it.
Right.
We're
It's
on
social.
our journey.
Right. It's
You know?
like this is a vibe, man, and I know it starts off small or it could be very
It
large.
starts off with se.
Yeah. So, but there's mathematics to what we're doing, and all of it is a frequency, and we're trying to connect into that frequency as a community, and we do that by gathering, small, big. Indigenous Peoples Day was one way that we gather. Plant-based Aslan is another way we gather. In this plant-based Aslan, Daniel will be going over once again the Day of the Dead, right? And whatever else now what knowledge that he wants to invoke. We're tuning the fork. We're tuning it with whatever we can. You can't stop that frequency. That frequency isn't yours. You didn't create it. So you can't interfere with it. You can try to kill it. You can try to get rid of it, but it lives in everything because we were at one with nature. The Nahuatl people, the people of Turtle Island, were at one with nature, undeniably, unequivocally one
Hey,
with nature.
I want to add a point too, man. Now that you just said it, remind me of something. Remember last week I said that the Canadians already acknowledged, the treatment they did to the natives, and in Mexico they asked for Spain to do it. Well, this last week, Biden, I think the Holland, who's the interior secretary, who's a native woman, had him give an apology for the boarding schools. So it's interesting as we speak. They're beginning to acknowledge the harm that they did.
Wanda, we should pull up that dumbass apology, bro. I mean,
No, I mean, I'm just saying,
This
I
shit
don't
even
measure it that
exists
way.
on
But yeah,
YouTube?
I think so, bro. I'll pull it up, dude. I
I
swear
mean,
to
it
God.
just
And I'm
begins.
not
It just
trying to
has to
diss.
be. No, but it has to begin at some point. But
Biden
I just realized
give an apology?
the turtle is
Uh,
beginning to get credit.
Well, I mean, of course they are because they can't hide the fact that we're still here. Remember, they always kick us with that. Sky, you're recently out of school. They say there was 35 million natives on this land, right? Before they came, before the conquest, right?
Yeah.
And that
Before the invasion.
right? And then the smallpox killed them all.
Yeah.
I mean, every single one of them. No, they didn't. What they did was they killed off our grandfather and our fathers and and all the people that were adults, right? And they raped the children. And then those children became half native, half European, which were discarded, which means they didn't have rights. They're condemned to perpetual slavery. This is us, right?
Yo, is this fool literally
So-
jogging?
So
Shit.
So this apology right here, this apology is like, sorry, we built these schools. I'm not trying to diss him because some people may like go, oh my God, I've been waiting all my life to hear that.
Right. That's true.
Right? But what
I just think this is the most hilarious shit.
I know, man. It doesn't do
I
well to
can't
the
believe
apology.
this guy's fucking running our country right now.
dude,
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
it
Is he
reminds me
really?
of Benny Hill.
I mean, come
This
on.
fool reminds me of Benny Hill. Look at him.
All right,
All
so-
you need is the music.
People don't even know Benny Hill, brother, but that's so funny. The music, dude. That's where the music comes from.
All you need is
Exactly.
that
Okay.
bald guy to come out of nowhere.
Right, dude. Exactly.
I was way too young watching Benny
Oh
Hill.
man.
All right.
But me too. It was the
I'm
only
gonna
shit
go
you could see.
ahead and mute our channels so we can hear
Okay.
the president speak, man.
Mr. President, how optimistic are you about the resumption of ceasefire talks?
heading, I'm heading to do something that should have been done a long time ago. Make a formal apology to the Indian nations for the way we treated their children for so many years. That's why I'm going. That's why I'm heading west. Thank you.
Why do you think I'm really so close right now, Mr. President?
Off like
Are
it
you
was,
fucking serious? He just ran off.
it was
Wait,
like,
he's saying he's going to do the apology, or that was it?
so
Nah,
I'm
he
on
was
my
going.
way.
He's on his
Yo.
way. He said it west.
He's all, I'm on my way to do a formal apology to all the Native Americans
For how we treated their children,
I mean, come on.
murdered them,
Yeah.
kidnapped them.
Right. A better way to say it. Really.
Raped, molested, pretty much just ripped them from their families. Trafficked.
The thing is, but this is where it begins.
We're sorry.
With the acknowledgement, you
That's
know.
still trafficking.
I mean, but I'm just saying this is where it begins, you know.
Like,
I didn't know it was that bad.
Okay, so
fucking
my
zero.
point-
That Biden's at this condition.
right.
Like,
But my point is this: that of course they're gonna go and start leaning towards the people they genocided, right? What's happening in the Middle East happened here, and people are slowly starting to figure out, hey, wait a minute, that's me. This is my original land. This is my original home place. Why am I displaced from my own home place? This is the same thing that's happening with BRICS, is that they're going, why are we poor? Like, why the fuck are we poor? We're the one that owns the gold. We're the one that owns, like, especially like South Africa,
Right.
and all these nations, they have lots of resources. They're going, why the fuck are we poor? And these motherfuckers are just coming in and taking it, right? Because the colonization doesn't get cured with apologies. You cannot. That's like telling those little Palestinians.
I think he genuinely thought he was doing something important.
Yeah, and the people are still gonna bite on. Oh wow, look at how progressive we are. We're changing.
He's the president.
We're changing. There's no more racism. Look at, he just apologized to the Native Americans that he decimated, ripped from their families, that he cut their hair, that he prohibited them from speaking their own language, that he broke the treaty with the original tribe. He's sorry. He's sorry about that. Right?
And broke every treaty, right?
And broke
Right.
every
Not
guy.
a single one honored.
Not one. Not one. Not one. But he's sorry. He's sorry, and guess what? He's sorry only for the residential school.
And check
part.
out the presentation. Fucking running to the camera and then pulling off.
I know, like a Benny Hill guy. Like,
Right. It did that. It just
and
needed music.
he's not apologizing for the Trail of Tears, the land theft, the displacement of hundreds of thousands of native tribes, right? Not qualifying them as federally recognized so that he doesn't have to split up the land anymore.
He's not apologizing for how the reservations and the conditions that they're in right now.
Exactly. The poverty that exists there, the suicide rate that exists there. But he's sorry about the residential school guys.
And the kids.
Yeah. We're sorry about that part.
Well, I think it'd be interesting to see if they get Leonard Peltier out. If you're really sorry about that shit, well, get that guy out of jail.
Here's the problem with recognizing anyone, pardoning anyone, or these bogus apologies, is that you have to recognize that you really fucked up a people. You can't apologize for raping them. No sorries are going to heal that. No sorries are going to heal the fact that they can't go back to their original lands, rivers, connections with certain plant life that lives in the forest. And these are the places that we develop ceremony. Now we're shoved into awkward spaces and trying to invoke the power that we had when we were able to roam freely and connect freely with the powerful sources that we had learned for hundreds, maybe even thousands of years. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know.
But I just think that, man, we just have to stop chasing the fucking bullshit dreams.
Right.
It's like, because the thing is, like I said, when we met these African homies, and like if they're chasing after the white man's dream, you're lost. Because we're not them.
And the sad
They're
part about it is that there's a really strong movement of materialism coming in from the quote unquote Latino Mexican population. Where they're
well, they're a bunch of you as your kids. You when you were a kid just wanted to fucking have something. I
right.
mean, it's just.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's no different. Again, dude, it's the dream. They're given a dream, and this is the way it is. Don't speak your culture. Don't like just the bullshit they feed them. You know what I
Buy
mean?
Gucci, buy Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, and just and get. You know what I mean? It's like, but again, too,
No,
that's
but
where they
the
get
weird
us.
part about it, is that people like in Tijuana, like the young women in Tijuana now, like the young kids or just the people that live there, they want Gucci. Man, that's like out of their reach, like 100. If it's out of our reach when we live here and we can possibly get a job that maybe one day you can get a bag like that, they're way far away from it. I mean, they survive off of like $40 a month, and they're trying to buy that type of materialism
Yeah,
because
that's crazy.
they have a cell phone which they could see the video and they see their favorite artist. Oh, I want to be like that one day. One day I'm gonna have a Gucci, and you live in a ghetto and in the what they call quote unquote third world country. So it's all based on illusion. And how do we break the illusion? Through frequency. How do we invoke the frequency? By speaking our language
Yep.
and hitting that tuning fork and breaking the frequency and illusion that the colonizer has brought here. All of their games, all of their religion, all of their foods, all of their philosophies, all of their education. Tune that fork. Because it's all an illusion. You know what I mean? Our ancestors were great. They studied for thousands of years. They disciplined themselves to pass on this message to us.
I just showed this guy a video. They're rioting in downtown LA right now.
What?
That's
No
the
way.
way they celebrate.
That's the LA celebration.
Yeah, man. It's that's what I'm talking about. That's it. That was it.
That's
That
what they
was-
want. That action is exactly what they want to get out of you.
It wasn't.
I could personally
like
care less.
alternative celebration.
Right.
I'm gonna make some barbecue and take it to my neighbor. I'm gonna make a sandwich. I'm gonna buy some pizza for my block.
Right.
Let's share pizza. Let's turn over the car. Fuck the cops. This place sucks. And we won the World Series. Like, this is such a confusing place.
Well,
There's
it's a confusing place everywhere.
There's no, and that's what I mean. Like, once we start tuning our fork by using the frequencies that were laid down from our elders and our ancestors, that language is sacred. That our illusion is not limited to what people are putting in front of us as a reality, right? Although it was fun to share a nostalgic moment with my young son that got, connected through this game, right? I also got connected with my son, I think, on a more profound way on my birthday, the next day. Instead of it being a high five for the game-winning run, it was, I love you, Dad. And I remember when you did this with me. And that, to me, is more than a World Series win. I'll never hear that from my 9-year-old kid or my 20-year-old kid. Right? They told me some very special, intimate things about what they felt about my fatherhood. And when we connect to those frequencies, we break the colonial illusion placed in front of us.
Right.
And the trap is gone. You're right, Daniel. It's not about how much money's in your bank account.
It helps.
It
But
helps.
it's but it just it's in your head, man. It's like I'm confident, but I mean,
But if I did have large amounts of money in my bank account, I would try to be creative on how to make people smile and feel safe. That's the only goal I would have with that money. Where can I create a safe space that invokes nothing but happiness and connection? I felt like we did that Indigenous Peoples Day because I kept just looking around at people and they were all smiling.
right?
They were all happy to see each other. They were all buying things. And I saw a lot of beautiful, beautiful moments in that day.
Yeah, I do too, man. People, that's what I'm saying. The space is really a good space for just interaction, And I remember the one homie too, Lance. That guy was classic. Do you remember him? Kind of
Lance.
the Lance. He was the widow that was like, I think he was like black and white, and his daughter was like, half black, half white. Man, he was a trip, man. It was funny because I don't know, it just cool homie. It's just interesting. He always bring up a lot of points that we've talked about. It was, hey, I remember we talked about it. So it's just interesting that it's just people are out there with those thoughts. And I want to say he was from like the East Coast, maybe like Philadelphia or somewhere. But it's always neat to meet people from somewhere else. Having a different perspective. But again, dude, your space just brings in different. Like I said, I met a group of people. One girl, she was originally from Jamaica, and actually her dad was from Jamaica, and the mom was from what's it, Dominican Republic, something. But I mean, just man, and Africana who doesn't even speak, didn't grow up speaking Spanish, but was fluent in Spanish, and she was a nurse. And I was like, oh man, she was. But again, dude, just neat people, Ruben. Like just and but I think also your whole vegan thing brings in a whole different crowd.
Well, it's about, remember, my grandmother died prematurely at 55 from complications of diabetes, which is
Right.
completely preventable. And there are strategies that you can use to heal yourself. And high mineral foods is what I found, and it saved my life. I went from 280 pounds to 210 pounds.
Yep.
So that's 70 pounds gone forever. I feel in amazing shape. I could do about 100 push-ups, and I could run 3 miles. I'm 50 years old. And, I kind of, this solar return, this time around the sun, I think the Creator makes you reflect in a certain way. And this time around the sun, I really faced my death. Like, instead of my birthday being this party, it really made me reflect to my death, because I'm 1 year less alive. On my birthday, I'm 1 year less, right? 1 year away from me. So that's what my death reminds me on my birthday, right? You're 1 year. 1 year is gone from your life. You won't have it back. So appreciate life. Respect your death. Because we don't know how long we're going to walk on this earth. So make your life art. Tune your frequency to our ancestral ways. Open the portal for those who have gone and have come to return to give you the messages you need during this time of what we call the Day of the Dead. I'm lucky enough to have my birthday close to that portal, to that time. I don't fear my death. I honor it. I give it gratitude because it helped me live one more year. I completed one more year. It's gone. I don't have infinite years. I only have a certain amount of years. But one of them just passed. We'll see you next Wednesday.